Something huge is happening in the world of artificial intelligence. And no, it's not just another big model getting announced. We are entering a totally new era, one that's not defined by what AI can do in some lab, but by who actually gets to use it. The walls are crumbling down, and suddenly intelligence is becoming abundant.
All right, so here's the game plan. First, we're going to look at the old, exclusive world of AI, what we're calling AI's walled garden. Then, we'll talk about the big moments that started tearing those walls down. We'll get into the wild economics that are fueling this change and see a pretty amazing real-world example of its power. And finally, we'll try to define this new era of mass intelligence and talk about why we need a whole new way to think about progress in AI.
So up until very, very recently, the most powerful AI was basically trapped. For the average person, it was stuck behind these two massive barriers. It created this kind of walled garden where only a handful of people could really play with the best stuff.
So the first barrier, just pure confusion. You'd see a drop-down menu of different models. Which one do you even pick? How are you supposed to write the perfect prompt? It just wasn't easy. And the second barrier was cost. I mean, the really good models, the ones that can actually reason through complex problems, they were locked behind subscriptions. Pretty expensive ones, too.
And here's the really wild part. Even the people who were paying for access were missing out. Get this, less than 7% of paying customers were regularly using the most powerful models available to them. It turns out even the supposed power users were kind of lost inside that walled garden.
Okay, so what changed? Obviously, that situation couldn't last. There was a key turning point that really started to break down those barriers, not just for the experts, but for, well, everyone.
A huge part of the solution was a totally new model architecture. It wasn't just one single AI anymore, but a whole family of them, with a smart router sitting right at the front. The idea was brilliant in its simplicity. You just talk to it, and it automatically figures out the right tool for the job. You know, whether you just need a quick answer or a powerful thinker for something really complicated.
And the effect was immediate. I mean, look at this. The number of paying customers using a top-tier reasoning model jumped from just 7% all the way to 24% almost overnight. The router was working. It was connecting way more people to way more power.
But, a smarter interface was only part of the puzzle. The real engine, the thing driving this great unlocking, was a radical, and I mean almost unbelievable shift in the economics of AI itself.
This is the key. It has become dramatically, ridiculously cheaper to provide AI intelligence to one more person. This collapse in cost means companies don't have to rely on expensive subscriptions anymore. All of a sudden, giving away incredibly powerful AI for free, maybe with ads, becomes a totally viable business. The scale of this price drop is it's hard to wrap your head around. When GPT-4 first came out, processing 1 million tokens, you could think of those as little pieces of words, cost about $50. Today, a more capable model can do the same job for just 14 cents. That is not an improvement, that's a revolution.
And this isn't just about saving money, it's also about energy. Google says that AI has become 33 times more energy efficient per prompt in just the last year. A typical AI query today uses about the same amount of energy as a simple Google search did way back in 2008. It's just staggering.
So let's see how this all comes together. This insane new efficiency is making AI not just cheap, but also incredibly simple to use. Let's look at a perfect example of this with Google's new image model, which got the nickname Nano Banana.
So, to test this thing out, a researcher named Ethan Mollick just followed these super simple steps. He uploaded 2 pictures and then just wrote a command in plain English. No complicated code, no technical jargon. He just said what he wanted, and the AI got it. And then he decided to take it even further with this wonderfully weird request. He asked for the astronauts on a plane, a nervous Buzz Aldrin holding a hamburger, and a totally realistic otter using a laptop in the middle seat, and the AI just did it. This is proof that the whole idea of prompt engineering, of needing to be an expert to talk to an AI, is just fading away. They're just getting better at understanding us.
So, what happens when you take these incredibly powerful, incredibly cheap, and incredibly easy-to-use tools and you put them in the hands of over 1 billion people? Well, you enter a completely new era with some pretty big consequences.
This is what we can call mass intelligence. Think about it. For all of human history, our schools, our governments, our companies, everything was built for a world where high-level intelligence was a scarce, expensive resource. And now, all of a sudden, they have to adapt to a world where it's abundant.
And this new abundance has just unleashed this chaotic flood of uses. People are using AI for literally everything you can imagine, all at the same time. They're launching businesses, cheating on homework, diagnosing diseases, and even writing new scriptures. This is the messy, unpredictable, wild reality of putting tools this powerful into the hands of the masses.
This new reality of mass intelligence means our old way of measuring progress in AI, just waiting for the next big model to drop, it's just not going to cut it anymore. We need a new scorecard.
See, we used to ask a pretty simple question. Is GPT-5 better than GPT-4? But that question misses the entire point now. The new way to measure this should be something like an unlock score. The question that really matters is, what new things does this model allow millions of people to do? How does it change what's possible for everyone, everywhere? That's the game now.
So if there's one thing to take away, it's this. The era of debating when powerful AI will get here, that's over. The tools are here, they are cheap, and they are in our hands. The era of mass intelligence is what's happening right now, and what a billion people decide to build, create, and maybe even break with these tools, well, that's a story we are all about to find out together.